Hi, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to the Star Atlas Week in Review. This is my 28th podcast of my thoughts about what happened in Star Atlas this past week. Most of the information I'm going off of, either articles or YouTube, are all mentioned in the news recap number 77. So if you go to intergalacticherald.com and sign up for the newsletter or the news recap, you'll be able to find all the links to things there. So first, start out with just a few things about me and stuff. So one, I'm always looking for podcast guests to be on this podcast to either promote your Star Atlas builder, if you're a Star Atlas builder, other content creators, I'd love to highlight them, or you just want to talk about the week in review of Star Atlas. So definitely looking for those different type of people to be guests on the podcast. I already mentioned again the weekly news recap on intergalacticherald.com. Please sign up for that if you like to get all the great content that's created by the Star Atlas community. I do have two Star Atlas projects I'm working on. One is called the Intergalactic Gear. It's a merch store I hope to launch. I'm looking for some input from community members on what kind of merch they like. So if you go to intergalacticgear.com, there's a merch survey there. I'd love for you to fill that out and give me some feedback. And then I also have another website called the Intergalactic Coalition. This is a non-guild guild. Basically, it's a place for Star Atlas gamers who don't want to join a guild, but yet still want to contribute, communicate, chat with other people, have a place to hang out that isn't the large Star Atlas Discord. So I have a survey there if you're interested in that kind of gameplay style. I'd love for you to fill that out. Once we reach enough critical mass, I will set up a community. The community software is a little different than Discord. It's actually paid, but it's more about threaded discussions and email alerts. So you don't have to always fall behind if you're not in Discord for a day. So moving on to the bulk of the podcast, which is the content. First one that occurred this past week is the Claim Stakes Tier 1 actually sold out. It was interesting. I was listening to, last week's Metaverse Nomads, and they had a guest. Unfortunately, name escapes me, though, again, username. Anyways, last Metaverse Nomads, he mentioned how he really thought Claim Stakes was a great way to get involved, and they were really good priced at about $30 some each. So you can spend $100, get 3 Claim Stakes. I don't know if that was the trigger, or if there was other things going on, or the release of Sage Labs upcoming. But there were like 700 or 800 Claim Stake Tier 1s still available. Initial ones being sold for USDC by the Star Atlas team. And I forget which date, but sometime in the middle of the week, they were all sold out. Interestingly, I had been on my own personal task or goal of building up enough Atlas through my ships in the faction fleet to always buy another Claim Stake. I think the idea, at some time I'll get into my philosophies on how my game style is. But anyways, the idea that, again, you get a Claim Stake, you check it every couple of days, and you can harvest the 4 Rs for 0 cost. So I think this is the foundation of your own gameplay, with the assumption that the 4 Rs, again, ammo, toolkits, fuel, and food, are going to be needed in some capacity to interact with your ships within the game. Getting those for free, I guess free after you purchased one, i.e. a Claim Stake, makes a lot of sense. So I back when they released them initially, I did get a Claim Stake Tier 2, bought a few of the Claim Stake 1s, and then I was going to keep buying them, but now that they've sold out, I may stop. I'm trying to remember how many I have now. But anyways, that's been my way to keep my faction fleet ships supplied through Claim Stakes. Complete passive income. So I don't know what I'm missing here, but I think this is a great thing. So anyways, but I do think the other interesting issue is, again, community interest. A object in the Star ecosystem sold out. Again, maybe this is speculation. Maybe this is cornering the market. Who knows? I don't have the knowledge to do the blockchain analysis. Was this one person or a couple people? Was this 700 plus individuals, whatever. But again, it shows that there is some interest. I forget, somebody said when you did the math there, that was $20,000-$30,000 or something. So that was, again, nothing to sneeze at. So, but anyways, that's again an interesting develop as a primary sale on the marketplace actually sold out. Second topic was the crafting tree. So a few Atlas brews back, the team did a fun little exercise to show the potential crafting tree, but without all the links. And so everybody could give their own ideas, and whoever got the closest won a couple of ships. So they actually published the official one. I want to thank Star Atlas Weekly Newsletter 95 for showing that. And again, I'm sure it exists in other places, but if you've been listening to any of these, you know that I'm not really a Discord fan, struggling with Twitter. I do like the fact that X, I'm going to keep calling it Twitter, does give notifications when people, mention you or repost or things like that. So that's really great for me when I do my quick checks each night, but I haven't figured out enough to figure out all the posts that came up. Anyway, so a weekly newsletter, obviously I'm promoting one. Love Apheus. So they had a picture of that one. Actually, just as a quick aside, I know that Star Atlas team has lost a lot of employees, so I'm sure they lost a lot of the people that were doing non-game development, i.e. marketing or communications or whatever. And again, I don't know. There may still be people there. I just, we haven't had a post on the Star Atlas Medium site in a long time. Definitely nothing on their website. Again, they were always kind of inconsistent anyways. And I know I'm old school and need to be more on Twitter and Discord, but sometimes it'd be just cool not to have to wade through thousands, hundreds of Discord messages to find the official post. I mean, there are announcement channels, but nevertheless, I have to be in Discord. There's this cool thing called a website. I know I'm old school. But just post something. Anyway, so I don't know where to find this crafting tree picture. Maybe they'll release it when they officially release Sage Labs. But anyways, I want to thank Funcracker at Aphia for putting that out there. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in really close to go through it. So, and I guess to be honest, I don't care about this yet until the actual game is released, because there's always a chance it'll change. But it did have some interesting, things now, kind of the starting point, which are the resources we would find at the Astro Age and Sage Lab, and then on the other side, the end products, the final state of things. Now, again, I don't know what a electromagnet does, but I get the general idea of a crafting tree. So it's interesting once we get into the game, but up till now, it's just cool. But I think my biggest takeaway from it is that, now you can start seeing how you obviously have some gameplay mechanics. You find these things, take them to your crafting stations and move them through. I think it will be interesting to see. The one thing that isn't on this crafting tree is there's no SDUs, survey data units. Anyways, apparently we know these are something in the game, but more related to the raffle, and obviously the raffle is related to the golden tickets, and they weren't on this crafting path tree. So, we got some information, but we still don't have everything. So, but it's official. There's something out there. So, search for places, because again, I don't know where to tell you to go look for it other than Aphia's newsletter. I'm sure it's on Twitter somewhere. Next topic. This was just a fun thing happening with the Star Atlas content creators. I just wanted to highlight because it's kind of cool to listen and just see how these things. But anyways, Atlas Theory, one of the content creators, is doing a series, Zero to Hero, I think it's called. I'm going to get better at writing these things down. But anyways, his idea was, back during Escape Velocity, could he start with nothing and play the game? And of course, you couldn't start with nothing because you still had $1,000 Atlas kind of entrance fee to get into Escape Velocity. But if you grind through that, you got a whole bunch of stuff. Could you start basically leveling up with things that were found, and could you sell them on the marketplace and things like that? So he released a new video talking about what he's going to try to do for that kind of concept in Sage Labs. Another content creator, Beyond the Horizon, actually was talking about it, and I'm not sure if it was intentional or just off the cuff, but it came up with an idea of challenging Atlas Theory to a showdown, but kind of threw around some stuff. And Beyond the Horizon numerous times brings his son onto the YouTube channel and said, my son can beat you. And anyway, it was just a really fun, showdown, I guess they called it. I think they both accepted, did some back and forth videos or something. And so they're going to both take a character they made up and run it through Sage Labs. So who knows? I mean, it seems all kind of fun and games, but I guess I have to admit, it was really cool and spontaneous and fun. I mean, so I really wish the best for both of them. I'd love to follow on. I think it'll be really cool. I have to give Beyond Horizon a little credit. I really like that he brings his son involved. I have a son older than Beyond the Horizon's son. So, but my whole, the point was, when I learned about Star Atlas a year and a half ago or whatever it was, my idea was to finally try to find a game I could play with my son, because I wasn't into Destiny or Overwatch or whatever he's playing. They just weren't my type. But when I mentioned, hey, you might be able to earn some money, he got interested in Star Wars. So this was going to be our game. Of course, there hasn't been a game, so he's moved on, literally, off to college, actually. So, but still, there's the internet. But anyway, so it's just cool to see another father and son playing, because that was sort of my introduction, or that was the reason I got into Star Atlas too. One of the reasons. So again, hopefully that showdown goes forward. I think it could be a really fun little, I just love these kind of spontaneous things that happen in the community. Moving on, another great thing that came out, a couple different content creators were talking about the different tools. So there's been the joke that Sage Labs is basically Spreadsheet Warriors. So a lot of people have been developing tools, which is great for the community. I really appreciate the people that are out there. So one tool, I think is built on Airtable, called Nancy, which I think is aligned with Afia, brought it out. So I saw a couple demos of people running through that on their YouTube channels. And I, again, need to get better about writing down people's names and things like that and providing links. But again, you can get most of the information if you subscribe to my newsletter and you watch the video, and the video will tell you who they are. So this tool is great. They took the spreadsheet that the Star Atlas team member Chipto released, added really, awesome graphics. I know they're just grabbing the images off the marketplace, but still just putting all that together, drop down boxes, build your own fleets, public or private viewing, and run through the spreadsheet numbers that we have, and you can learn about your cargo and your speed and stuff like that. Anyways, just great that team or community members are building these kind of tools. This is awesome. I'm really in awe of the talent that this community has to help build these tools. And I know people are saying, these will be proprietary and the guilds will keep them secret so they can do that. Again, I have no problems with that. Obviously there's an economic incentive in the guilds to keep knowledge secret, to maximize their profits. Again, capitalism, no problem with that. So, but it is cool that some tools are being released to the entire community. So that's cool. But on that same vein, I wrote down a little comment, which is, does using a tool take away from the fun factor? And I think this is one of those, again, themes I've been mentioning quite a bit, is if you like being a spreadsheet warrior and playing a spreadsheet game, no problem, go for it. But if you just wanted to get in, as been mentioned, there's really no 3D component. You're literally clicking buttons, though more engaging clicking buttons in Faction Fleet Score. But is it fun? Or more to the point, I guess, does having these tools, again, these enhanced spreadsheets, take away any of the fun factor of like discovery or going out there? And I think there's a couple different ways, or a couple different thoughts. One, I have to admit, the tools really take and give you some idea of what to do. Now, of course, you could go out and just explore, try something and learn. But again, it's all based on formulas. So you might as well use a spreadsheet or one of the tools to figure it out. And I think we have to kind of be upfront that Sage Labs was never intended for public release. It was always their internal testing tool. Sage Rec was supposed to be the real thing. So, we may not have gotten this kind of stuff, but teams definitely becoming more transparent. They're sharing more. So again, I guess we'll wait and see. But I guess where I come more about the fun factor is, are we all just becoming accountants? We're all running our spreadsheets to figure out how to maximize profits. I don't know. I'm not an accountant. I need to hire an accountant to get out of my own business bookkeeping. But, some people could find that fun. I mean, accountants don't think their job's boring. They wouldn't become accountants. And just a quick aside, I mean, as a business owner myself in the real world, knowing your numbers, knowing your profit loss statement are very, very important to business. You could have the greatest idea and you could be the coolest, whatever, creative person, anyway, whatever, and if you can't make your numbers pencil out and you can't make a profit, well, you don't have a business. So again, there's nothing wrong with all this. But again, I think some people have kind of stated in I don't know, kind of half and half, is this fun? But again, we'll see. And, building the economy, profit loss statement. I mean, again, this all does feel like spreadsheets. So, we'll just see. It could still be fun. And again, a lot of games that no one would ever not say is a game had grinding involved. And this is a new phenomenon. This has been going on for years, if not decades. So yeah, just me rambling. Next topic, delays and transparency. So at some point, actually, I was busy a couple nights, so I wasn't keeping up with the Star House Discord, but popped in at one night and they were talking about a lot of people, and forget which channel, being all upset again about missed deadlines or missed delays. And I guess I've been around this Star House community long enough that I just don't even believe. It's not that I don't believe or that they're sincere with dates. Again, we've had so many of them. It's again, there's a reason why the 4 to 6 is the internal meme. But I actually thought about this for a second and I realized I think the Star House team could have done a little bit better. And again, I don't mean this at all in a negative way, but I think after the layoffs, when the 3 remaining co-founders were on the town hall or whatever we call that meeting, I praised them for their level of really, I mean, they shared so much about the inside development, what the plan was, all the roadmap. Some dates were mentioned, if I remember correctly. Maybe not in that one. But again, at some point, the Sage Lab had some dates, 2-3 weeks, and then that was delayed because they realized the UI could be improved. User interface. But I do think that they have done, since the layoffs, an incredible job of being incredibly transparent about all the ongoing development. So I guess my next part is sort of with constructive criticism bent. This past week, we were told, and I remember on the Atlas Brew CEO, Michael Widener, saying, the Star Path, the referral program, will come out next week. Okay, week's over, it didn't come out. Didn't need to say that. No one would have had a problem if it says it's coming. And in fact, before that was stated, it was coming at the same time as Sage Lab. Again, no problem. But I didn't hear any reason why, and the week ended. Just this morning, I finally listened to the Atlas Brew that came out this past Wednesday, so I'm recording this on a Saturday, so 2 or 3 days ago. And it was brought up that, something happened, and probably next week. And see, this is the problem, I guess, is I wouldn't have had any problem if they said, yep, it's coming out at the same time as Sage Lab. And then we were told Sage Lab has been delayed because we want to improve the interface. And as we saw a demo on the latest Atlas Brew, this looks way better than the previous screenshots. We've also obviously missed the late August, early September timeframe. And definitely, I'm sure there is a portion of the community who apparently was on Discord saying, hey, this is crazy. They're never making these deadlines. Fair. That is fair. They did not make their deadlines. I, again, just wonder, and again, in constructive criticism, if you had stopped giving dates and now you start giving dates and then you miss those dates, again, all of this will be forgotten as soon as the game is released. Partly it could have been frustration too, because apparently there's some sort of playtest going on with some, quote, select community members, and I think some community members wondered why they weren't picked. So I want to first say I'm totally happy with the transparency that the team is giving, but I think maybe even more transparency might be in order. And to me, this is just simply putting it in a central form, not just a post on Twitter or somewhere in the foundation room. There's an announcement channel. Just announce to the group, hey, it's not coming out this week. Here's the reason why, which again, we're given at the Out West Brew. We're looking for this bug. We had this issue with something on the Solana mainnet. Again, I don't know. Maybe I'm just naive, but I still think, one, if you're going to set a date, you need to hit it. And if you don't hit the date, you need to explain why you didn't hit the date. That's all. Again, I have clients in my business for marketing. If I say I'm going to get to it by the end of the day, I need to get to it by the end of the day. If I need to stay up late, I got to stay up late. So usually I don't tell them when I'm going to get it done. I set the expectation. But again, I'm not trying to be critical of the team, but I think some of the most recent, and again, I didn't read any of the messages because they'd already scrolled through my Discord. I guess I'm just mentioning more transparency with centralized announcements, even if, again, it's in Discord. There's an announcement channel, use it. Could go a long way to smoothing over a lot of these, especially when no one would have batted an eye if you just said, 4 to 6 weeks type of thing and moved on from that. So again, not trying to be whatever. A couple final things. There were more information that came out of that Atlas Brew on Wednesday about Sage Labs, and what I thought was two interesting takeaways on sort of the tips strategy is, one, sure is sounding like Sage Labs is all going to be about having multiple fleets. So fleets that are designed for mining, fleets designed for transportation, and fleets designed for crafting. So that makes perfect sense, but be interesting to see how that works. But I didn't note, and I replied somewhere in Discord, I think it was, I remember. I got to write down more things. But anyway, some team member was mentioning that they were making sure that someone with a single ship could still have fun in Sage Lab. And I commented or replied back, I really appreciate that, because again, nothing wrong with guilds or people with massive fleets who can easily break it up into 3 different things. But again, what if you just have one ship? Are you going to be able to mine something and travel back and craft it all with just one ship? Hopefully that gameplay style is supportive. Again, we'll find out when it comes out. But I personally like the idea of the multi-fleets. It's more management, it's more of understanding strategy, some tactics. So I think that's really great. But don't want to, hopefully the team doesn't lose sight. Or again, maybe it's just not this release. But I truly think long term that Star Atlas needs to be able to support just individual gamers with not zero resources, but some resources. And again, I think the barrier to entry, haven't seen the latest prices, but traditionally all console games have been $60 a game. So, I'm not asking for a free option by any stretch, but that someone with a minor investment can get into the game and do something, and then of course have a way to level up with the primary input is time, and nothing yet has said that that's not going to be the case, but I just thought it was interesting that someone internally was advocating for single ship players. So, but back to the multi-fleets, another word or phrase that came out was factory supply chain style gaming. And again, that may not be your interest. You were looking for the space adventure combat UE5 AAA game, and you now get a spreadsheet game that involves supply chains. Again, some people say accounting's boring. Some people say supply chain is really boring. Just as a quick side, the current CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, was the supply chain guy. He wasn't the Steve Jobs. So, sometimes you can say supply chain people rule the world eventually. So, but anyways, it was just interesting to see more and more how Sage Labs is really going to be this multifaceted, multiple thing, which again, coming from Faction Fleet, these changes are awesome. Just even if I don't find that playstyle my cup of tea, which I may or may not, all comes down to the question of how much time I have in a given day, but it's all still interesting. So just wanted to point that out, and that wraps up the kind of content bulk of this podcast. So just to close out again, if you would like to be on the other end of this conversation, interacting with me, again, I'd love to have some podcast guests. Again, we could talk about the week in review of Star Atlas, or love to have you just talk about if you're a content creator, what kind of content you're creating. Love to promote you. Or if you're in the Star Atlas build program, love to also give a microphone to people who do that. If you want to find out all the information I do, please just go to intergalacticherald.com and subscribe to my weekly news recap, where you get I curate all the content, Star Wars content creators, videos, articles, put them all in one place so you can find everything. And then just again, if you're interested in contributing to some of my projects, love to get some insight from you if you'd be interested in someday purchasing some Star Atlas merch. So please go to intergalacticgear.com and fill out my merch survey. Or if you're not really interested in joining a guild, you are that single ship gamer who wants to talk with other people in that kind of same interest, maybe we'll start sharing some strategies about how you can maximize a small fleet, or you only have an hour, or you only can play on the weekends like myself, and you just want to hang out and chat with people. That's the kind of non-guild guild I'm hoping to get together. So please go to intergalacticcoalition.com and fill out the interest survey. So I have some contact information for you if you'd like to do that. And thank you very much for listening to me ramble for whatever this was. Until next week, this is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald.